Anybody undefeated? Anybody?
There's a league that I haven't got a win yet. So does that count? Reverse undefeated?
Yeah, winless. Oh, Steve, you're still undefeated?
Let me know how that works out for you. I can tell you with
cute.
experience that it doesn't always end well.
That's cute.
Hey, look, I'm reveling in every moment that I have this. I tweeted out, X'd out. I don't know what you call it anymore. That Chris is the undefeated killer. It might not have happened in the regular season, but there is one team I do not want to play in the playoffs, and that is the screen underneath me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heavy man.
David.
That's heavy as the crown, hey?
Yep.
That's impressive.
It's okay. I'm not making playoffs. It's all good.
Someone stole Chris's candy and his chocolate bars today, so he's a little bit upset.
He's so sad.
Hey man, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna go 8-8.
He had a big weekend.
Yeah, he did. We'll get into that in a second. Welcome to That Helps No One Fantasy Cast on Crier Media. You can follow along on YouTube, on our Twitter, on my Twitter, the Crier Media one, Twitch, a bunch of Twitches in there. I don't have a Twitch, but we're on Twitch. That's my dad joke for the day. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about injuries. We're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks, and I believe they're wearing some throwbacks this weekend. So Chris is very topical right now, and he's wearing a Steve Largent jersey. I know I'm wrong on this. I'm just trying to get a rise out of anybody willing to go on it. And clearly, it's not a Steve Largent jersey. But we're going to have a lot of fun. Boys, welcome to the show. Ted, welcome back. Good to see you. It's going to be a lot tougher to roast you. We'll find a way anyway. It's just you're here and you're on mute, so maybe that's. I
was gonna wear my Hawaiian shirt for you guys, but
I mean, you technically are wearing a Hawaiian shirt, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So way to go, Steve. Good to see you as always.
We thought it would be difficult to roast Ted. He's on mute. He doesn't know what shirt he's wearing. Look, he's just here for the pretty face and the something or Argo. Yeah.
Argo.
That legit used to happen all the time. So I guess there's this like media company called Arco Media, and they the people that come around and say like subscribe to all these magazines or whatever. You ever had that person knock on your door?
Oh yeah.
It was like an early yeah, exactly, just like that. It was like an early 2000s thing. So we would get phone calls like almost daily about like, hey, stop sending me magazines. I want to cancel my subscription. And we're like, that's not us. And they're like, yeah, right. You guys have been giving me the runaround for years now. And we would seriously field these phone calls like every week. It was ridiculous. So
that's awesome. Like
not Arcro, but our Acro. Close.
It's good enough. It's good enough. And obviously the star of the show, the reason everybody tunes in every single week. Stats don't lie. Chris, welcome. All right.
Yes.
So Chris gives us a big.
There's the first smile. He was saving it.
Told you, man. I literally just woke up off the couch. I'm.
Yeah, but that's normal, isn't it?
Should we get that intro? Who was last week off the couch? Who's the guy that on Sunday Night Football? He's like straight off the couch.
Can't remember. Oh man, Justin Pugh for the Giants.
Yeah, straight off the couch. So classic. Sunday was National Tight Ends Day. Somehow everybody felt like they could include that with Monday because apparently, why not? Tight ends definitely were the star of the weekend. They've been the star of our show for most of every season. So really for us, it's nothing new. We had the Dalton Kincaids. We had the Mark Andrews. We had Travis Kelce. We had
that's Taylor
Waller.
For all of
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. We had Travis Swift. I apologize. It was a pretty good week.
They were leaving Arrowhead.
Did I see now?
Yeah. They're leaving like holding hands, like a cute little new couple, and one of the
Taylor's boyfriend.
Hey, Taylor's boyfriend, and he's just like doesn't even miss a beat. He just pumps his fist. He's like, "Yeah, that's right."
Hey, man. You know what? You can make fun of all. Good for him.
Good for him. Thank you.
Like when Mike Fisher was dating or with Carrie Underwood early on, and they were calling him Mike Underwood.
Yeah.
And he was like not having it, which was hilarious. But
like, hey, man,
Kelsey's figured it out.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Life's gonna be okay. So tight ends had a pretty good weekend. Obviously, we probably have a few of them in our show today. all the bad teams won for some reason this week. Pick'em was not kind to me. I had a solid 5 this week. There were more than 5 games that were played. Yeah, the leader at work had 6. So just to give you an idea, there were a lot of teams that should not have won that did. So, it happens. But I don't think there's a bye week this week for some reason. Is that how does that work?
Weird.
It look like everybody plays this week.
Yeah, and the no bye week thing I think should impact values for when it comes to guys making bids in free agency, because theoretically a few more players should be available because guys are going to have to want to drop off the roster. So I'd be interested to see what the adjustment looks like when free agency comes along.
So anyway, something to keep an eye on. We'll get into trades in a second. Injuries, obviously, in fantasy, we're going to talk about in a second. But before we go any further, our man Chris went down to Merca and he made a purchase while he was in Merca. He went to catch the Seahawks, play the Cardinals, and was it NFL Canada or was it Seahawks Canada, Chris?
Seahawks Canada.
It looks like pretty awesome time. Good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, we hopped on the bus, went down Saturday. I ended up meeting Cam Chancellor Saturday night while I was out for dinner, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd be super excited too, just like you are right now.
Yeah. And then Sunday, obviously, threw our bags on the bus early, got down to the stadium, took in all the festivities and what have you. Game was good. The seats were not bad. I forgot how much it sucks to climb all of those stairs.
Were you in row JJ?
Pretty close. Yeah,
those are good seats.
Yeah, we were in row GG.
That's just as bad.
which compared to my row B was a big change.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not that there's a bad seat in the place. Obviously, you can see and that's good, right? But
you're there more for the atmosphere the higher up you go. That's for sure.
Getting up and down those stairs and being oh man, I could really go for another beer, but I'm not going to go. I'm not going to climb these stairs again.
Were you just looking down at your seats, being
does the beer guy even go that high in the stadium?
He does, yeah. Actually, funny enough, the beer guy actually didn't come to my seat, my season ticket seats.
Yeah,
didn't see the beer guy the entire game. But I think it makes sense because it was in my seats that I have, it's 5 stairs, and I'm in the concessions basically.
Yeah, they figure you could do it yourself.
Yeah, so the beer guys are focusing on the folks higher up. Met Dylan Playfair at the game. He was sitting with us. He was part of the 12 North crew for the weekend. Yeah, pretty cool guy. I mean, I didn't want to be man, you're Dylan Playfair. That's so cool. I was just it was his first ever Seahawks.
That is so cool.
I thought it would have been well, you're Chris Phillips, you guy from that fantasy show. You're the star. It's me.
It was his first Seahawks game as well. So that was kind of cool. We're on the field at the 50-yard line, and first Seahawks game. I'm man, it's gonna be pretty hard to beat your first game when you get to go to the game, they win, and you're on the field after the game.
Was he the one that dated that reporter? Or is that the other Playfair? I can't remember. Back in junior, he was dating one of the beat reporters for
couldn't tell you.
Is he a Seahawks fan, or is he just because it's a game? Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Him and his wife were there, and it was both their first time. One of them, I think his wife posted on Instagram afterwards, being "We're Seahawks people now." So
so he's drinking the Kool-Aid. That's cool.
Yeah.
We're a 12.
Yeah, there was a few people on the bus trip that were drinking the Kool-Aid on the weekend, and that's fine. Honestly, it's
hey man, create fans. You got to create fans somewhere.
And I say to people all the time, man, going to an NFL game, nothing touches this. How cool going to an NFL game is, and that whole experience, nothing compares to it. So the more people that get to experience that, and exactly, maybe that does create a new fan. Cool. Not everyone has to be obsessed like I am.
Who raised the 12th month
Gus Johansson.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you get to meet your? Did you get to meet the people that bought your tickets for your season tickets?
No, we weren't that close. We were my seats are in section 303, and on Sunday we were in section 313. So no, I didn't bother.
GG.
I didn't bother walking over there and be like, "Get out of my seats."
Are you drunk, old man? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not old.
Yeah,
I got
You
a
were
bad
hobbling
hip.
the
Okay,
entire way.
you're taking
Yeah.
the stairs. I'm coming down here.
yeah. I should have. My hip was bugging me on Sunday, so I should have.
There it comes. It only took a little bit.
We're getting there. There's not,
That's
what else can you
awesome.
do?
That's awesome. And the jersey looks sick. Obviously,
Thank
I
you.
think they're doing like helmet testing today. I saw online on like
Yeah.
Instagram. All the players are like getting not like they haven't already.
Kit it up.
Getting fitted. Yeah.
Pretty rad. Pretty
make
rad.
sure they fit properly. Because they're gonna probably have to wear them all week for practice and get them fitting properly.
I'm headed down there Sunday to watch. So I'm actually really stoked to see what the retro jerseys look like.
Oh,
live.
you did end up getting some tickets?
Yeah, we decided to just do the Ticketmaster thing and go because everybody was booked and ready to do it. So make it happen.
Nice. Cool,
Yeah.
man.
And NFL football, like I said in the chat, there's nothing like it.
There really isn't.
There's some like weeks, like this was one of those weeks. I was watching the Ravens game this weekend, and I'm sure Steve was as well, because obviously, and I mean, you're just watching it, and there's just stupid stuff going on. You're like, man, nothing equals this sport. And then seeing like Puka's catch like later in the day, like you're just watching like these guys are like freaking grown men ballerinas getting tackled, making crazy plays, or like Kyle Pitts little behind the grab thing. Like, I'm sorry, man. It's just insane every single week. Chris, like you said, you go to a game and you watch like the fireworks. Like they put fireworks and flyovers every single week for every home stadium, even the domes, I'm sure. But I get
no flyover this week, but the Canadian national anthem was pretty cool.
That's close enough. No flyover, not even like snowbirds or anything.
I haven't seen any flyover yet this year.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
they got to get on that.
I think I've only actually been in Seattle for one flyover, and it is pretty freaking cool though.
I was in San Diego for a flyover. Ryan, thank you for letting me go on that trip. That was great.
No problem.
I know that you went to Prince George instead. So
Fort St. John, actually, no big deal.
But it was like, it was like so loud. I was surprised at how much you could feel the jets flying by. It's like crazy loud.
Yeah. Didn't you talk to like Nick Folk or something that game too?
Yeah, we were chirping him from the stands during warm up and stuff, and he like fingered
me.
In
fantasy. Yeah, Sunday night football here is pretty awesome when it's the Patriots and the Chargers and they wear their powder blues in San Diego. But everybody needs that kind of experience.
Actually, it's a Monday nighter, but who's counting?
Was it Monday?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, it might have been a Sunday. I can't remember.
Who cares? You had a good time. I do suggest that people start trading with Ted if you're in a league with him, because it seems to pan out pretty quickly for both parties. So, Ted, you and I made a deal in 2 leagues this weekend. One was the Acres deal because
Steve and I made a deal last week.
There you go. So it's paying off. So Acres for CEH, which didn't really pan out for me because I didn't need him. But, Clyde, he's just hanging out on the bench. It's fine. Pacheco's doing his thing now. But who knows? Maybe bye week or something like that. And Cam Akers decides to make an appearance in the NFL and goes off is probably hyperbole. But 5.5 fantasy points. Not too bad for a guy that, I just had to move on from. Sometimes you just got to carry on and make a move. So thanks for spearheading that, Ted. And then we made another deal in our the Family Feud League. And Waller for Stroud, you've been needing a quarterback. He's been sitting on my bench since the draft. I needed to upgrade my tight end position for a bye week. And worked out pretty well for Mr. Waller. First touchdown of the season. I was a big fan of his production. It helped me smoothly go to 6-1. So,
yeah, I get to finally get off. I mean, I'm starting Fields, so I get to get off that wild roller coaster. I think the bye week I had Russ in, so that's also a roller coaster, whether it's let's ride or not. And then I have Andrews on that squad, so moving Waller wasn't a huge deal to try to get a decent quarterback in.
Much appreciated. So, like I said, it's a good time when you make a trade with Ted because he just likes to make trades sometimes for the sake of making trades, and sometimes they're actually value trades. So,
I wonder if I'm still on trade embargo with Chris. I'm not sure, but at least
do we want to solve this right now? Do we want to solve this right now, Chris? Do you want to get this out in the open or what?
Don't trade with Ted.
Okay, there you go.
Chris did put 4 guys on the trade block this week, so maybe Ted goes in and like sends an offer just to like. He probably doesn't even want the player, but he's like, let's see if we can end this embargo. Just like I do want Josh Kelly, just because I want to end this trade embargo.
What's it going to take, Chris? What's it going to take to end this?
Don't trade with Ted.
Okay, so moral of the story is do not trade with Ted if your name is Chris. In my case, I don't mind trading with Ted. It's worked out most times. So,
you know what? I got to back Chris on this one because trading with Ted always seems like a good deal at the time, and then you realize you're dancing with the devil, as is proved by getting Mr. Ford, who
that's your own fault.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I put injury voodoo hex on my players I trade, so watch out, Waller.
Let's get into that right away, actually, before we get into our Thanos. So also, if you guys want to drop your trade ideas in the chat or just any comments or questions, hit us up on the YouTube and the Twitch. Let's talk about injuries. So yeah, Jerome Ford, he hurt. Not good. Not good for people that have recently picked him up or that's finally got on that train. Injuries in fantasy, I mean, real football sucks, but obviously when you got stuff riding on it, there's a lot of injuries out there, like Justin Jefferson. We're looking at the Taylors and there's
some big receivers going down this year too. It's been a tough year.
It's not fun, especially if you. I mean, we've all had a team, I think, that's been doing really well, and then all of a sudden you get hit with the injury bug, and it seems like it doesn't end, and you go from being first to maybe a bubble team at best, or worse than that. So injuries can definitely derail your season pretty quickly, and it seems like the last couple seasons have been no exception. Does anybody have any, aside from Ford? Chris, you got any injuries on your team right now that are killing you? Just rolling.
No, I've got all of them. I made this clear in Hangouts. Like, I think that my biggest accomplishment this year is being undefeated still, but dealing with all of the injuries. So, like,
when this all started, you remember this, right? Last season. You took advantage of a special person like myself. And that's
not really. I ended up trading that Band-Aid away for Amon-Ra.
I know, but look how it's affected you in the long run.
So I started the year. I had Breece Hall coming back off of his knee injury. I knew that you're not going to get rid of him, so that's kind of like one you just have to eat. Aaron Jones hurt himself early in the year. That was another keeper of mine. Justin Jefferson is one of mine. That was another keeper. Dobbins was one of the fourth of my 5 keepers. That's another one. I have Kyron Williams. I have Ford. I don't know. I have Odell Beckham. When injuries hit, I'll go through years where it's like, yeah, I relatively was unscathed, and you have like a guy out for a week or 2 weeks here and there. I have never had a week like this where I'm like, okay, I'm trading for Jerome Ford. Ah, crap, he's injured too. Okay, what do I got? Like, I have no picks left. Like, I have a couple 5th and a 6th or something like that. Like, this is my team locked in. I don't know how many more injuries I can sustain going forward, but maybe I have to look at the trade bubble here with Chris and start throwing around some picks to him.
You know what? Sometimes that's how you build friendships, I find. Trades.
Oh, I'm not on a trade embargo with Chris. Chris and I traded last year.
Like one time? Wow.
We traded again at the beginning of this year too.
It was a great trade. Great double trade.
I'm impressed. Thanks for sharing, guys. Appreciate it. Ted, you got injuries? I mean, you're like 0-7, so
yeah, like I'm pretty beat up in this league too.
Injury.
So I do want you to know that I actually have rattled off 2 straight wins. So who knows how far out of it I really am? But I'm going to try to make I'm going to try to make it interesting down the road. But yeah, I've had some tough spots. Fields was hurt, and Saquon, and obviously losing Chubb in my other leagues was really tough. And then after losing Chubb, losing Ford in all those leagues too. So, some tough luck with guys like Waddle missing a bunch of games, and some young players like Reed being out too. That's been pretty helpful for me down the stretch as like a third receiver. So it's no huge impact stuff unless you count the Barkley one, which is kind of happens every year with him. So
that's kind of a given. Well, we're going to talk about injuries to. We've been talking about our teams, but let's talk about injuries to fantasy scores. The people that help no one. Of course, that means it's time for Thno Stars with Jody. Our boy Jody. Should it always be our boy Jody? I think so.
Or Joy Bodie.
Joy Bodie. Love it. Steve, fire away, buddy. Who you got?
Yeah, I got a weird one here. Of course I do. So, do you remember when Vincent van Gogh used to tell people, or people told him that you can't be a great painter, you only have one ear? You know what he said?
Shut up. His painting's awesome.
No, he said, I can't hear you.
Oh.
So,
there's an ear thing.
You know where I'm going with that one? You remember the big quote? To the 6% of people who started him, like the Van Goghs of the world, you can't hear all the negativity that they are bringing to you. And you started Minshew Mania. Oh my gosh. 4 total touchdowns, 300 passing yards. Only 6% of people started him. Gardner freaking Minshew looks great. Didn't help relatively no one. He's my Thno star.
Indy's hoping to deal with today. 3rd and 2. Fake handoff to Moss. Minshew! Minshew in! Touchdown!
The shoulder shake.
He looked pretty good.
Fun move, and that's a fun little celly right at the end there.
Like, I mean, when he's playing well, like watching Uncle Rico play football is just a great time, regardless of who he's playing against.
Yeah.
Cowboys
he just looks like he's having so much fun too. You like see like through the face mask. I really like those helmets too. Like the
that was a pretty sick get up. The whole color rush, loved it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Very nice, Chris. Who didn't help people this week?
Yeah, so I have been to 2 games this year, both in Seattle, and I have seen my boy
both in Seattle.
Jake Bobo score a touchdown in both games that I've gone to. He's got 2 touchdowns on the season, and both times I was there. Maybe I'm his good luck charm. Maybe he needs to fly me in for all the games. I don't know. But at the time of his touchdown, he was 0% rostered, obviously 0% started. His roster ship has moved up to 2% of leagues. So obviously some leagues have free-for-all waivers, not traditional waivers. But with 0.4 yards of separation and only 15.9% completion probability, which thank you to Next Gen Stats for that information, Gino put the ball in a spot where only Bobo could get it, and boy did he ever, coming down with the most improbable touchdown pass of the season. And it was so nice, guys. Pete Carroll threw the red flag just so everyone could see it again and get a closer look.
Man, Pete Carroll, aside from the one play, which we shall not name, he's a boss. He really is. Him and DK at the draft, all that stuff. Like,
man, the way Pete threw, like I was watching Pete on the sideline, like after that catch.
Show us how. Show us.
Like, is he gonna throw it? Is he gonna throw it? And then like the way he he walked up to the ref and then walked away from the ref and just went and like threw it back towards the ref. And I didn't think it was a touchdown, but I digress. Even with all the praise for Bobo on this one and his 18-yard touchdown, that helps no one still.
From the 18-yard line, Smith with time, throws to the end zone. Bobo, the intended receiver.
Boy, was that close to being a touchdown. Bobo's hand fighting with Starling Thomas. He actually gets the ball and the completion. His left foot is down. Oh, that right foot looked like it might have gotten in bounds.
TV ain't helping.
Yeah, one hand, the toe drag swag to make Nate Burleson proud. man, it was. I didn't think it was a touchdown. They were showing it in the stadium. It was actually really cool. They had it up on the big screen, and like they like froze it, and they like zoomed in and zoomed in and zoomed in.
Nice.
And like people are starting like the buzz is growing, and then when the ref announced it was a touchdown, it's probably the biggest cheer of the entire game.
That was pretty
freaking love that. Does this bug anyone else? I feel like any contested catch in the end zone, the DBs instantly get up like, no way. There's no way that was a score, not a chance. And like, I know, but it's just so ridiculous how emphatic they are about, no, for sure that wasn't a score. And I feel like it's 50-50 all the time.
I mean, it's not nearly as bad as like when the quarterback sails it over a guy's head by 15 yards and the DB's like, no, like I shut him, like, yeah. So it's like, that's just DBs, man. This is who they are.
No one was even in the area. Yeah, gotta love it. Who do we got here? Steve, fire away, man. Did I already get you? I don't remember. Okay, you know what? Let's do Ted. Why not?
All right, so for this one, I'm going MVS. So I mean, this guy I feel like has 2 or 3 big games every year, and it doesn't seem to matter. I don't feel like I've ever had a chance to start this guy. Anytime he's had a big game, I would like to meet the guy that has started him when he had a big game, but he's rostered in 8% of leagues. I think he was started in like 2% or 1% when I was looking the other day. But he went off 16 points, big game, and he wasn't even the big scorer on the field. He put up 83 in a TD, but some guy named Mr. Swift might have had a better week. That's all good. It's fun watching him, I guess, within the KC offense. But to be honest, I mean, I would like to see the guy that started this dude. I think it's just like Steve was saying, this is like a by accident start or some sort of set that nobody's doing anything for their roster. But yeah, roll the clip. Big day for him.
Se mexe Sky Moore. É passe para o Mahomes. Tem muito tempo. E não tem uma segurada aí, não. Olha o passe do Mahomes pro Marquez Valdez-Scantling e ele vai pro touchdown, Kansas City Chiefs!
I really got to vet these clips, apparently.
Wow, that was great.
That was so awesome.
That was great.
I'm just like, I really got to take the sound on when I'm downloading these clips because I just click, copy link address.
Oh man, I was so hyped. I just went out and added MVS because of that clip.
That was that touchdown was about as long as a CVS receipt. That was a great play. Good pick. And then finally for me, well, there's some stuff going. Oh shoot. I decided that I was going to just search Jake Bobo. I told you guys to add him in week 4, so just in case. Unless you guys had a desperation start and felt Eckler was going to tank, you likely didn't start Joshua Kelly, nor did most of Sleeper. But in their words, he ripped off a career long run. That's from the Sleeper app with a solid 75 yards and a TD. Not going to lie, I had another guy picked, but it's an excuse to see the Chargers jerseys, which always help Ryan.
We'd love to see him get a second chance, though he'd hate to lose him. Here's Kelly. Kelly into the secondary. Kelly with a foot race. Kelly all the way to the end zone for the touchdown. Edwards couldn't catch up to him. 49-yard sprint.
Man, those jerseys, home or away, sick. Absolutely sick. I love it. So, great run, Mr. Joshua Kelly. Which also means, without further ado, Chris, I blame him mostly for keeping us on track. We're back to sleepy ads. It's kind of pretty close to what we've got today with Chris, aside from the Seahawks jersey. Ted, who do you got for your sleepy ad this week?
I am going with Pierre Strong, Cleveland Browns running back. I know what you're thinking. I know Cleveland Browns running back. But Ford's going to miss time. He's got the bad ankle, and Hunt is playing on a pitch count. He's nursing a big thigh injury. And his end-of-game duties for Strong went to him at the end of game for him to run it out, even though the game was tight and right down to the wire. I know that he was in there for the Colts, and it was a tough go. But at the end of the day, that O-line's quality, somebody's going to get the ball. Cleveland hasn't picked up any new running backs. And even if it is a split, it's just that. I think there's still a chance that they're going to use Hunt on all scoring plays, but I think there's chance with the speed that Pierre Strong has.
Oh, wait, sorry. You didn't say half PPR. I apologize.
Right.
The split, sorry.
Yeah, that. But it's going to be tough, obviously playing against a really fast and physical Seahawks D. But I think with the amount of touches he's possible to get, he's still worth an ad. So in this one, go and get yourself a Pierre Strong, Cleveland Browns running back, rostered in 8%. Currently, he's only being started in 1%, but I think it deserves a spot on the roster. Steve, this is probably a guy you should go at if you have space.
Steve, I think that was a thing to, we can pause the show for you if you like and go at him if you need him.
Hey, friends help friends.
We all know that I used every last fob that I had on Kyren Williams. So
I actually didn't know that.
Steve already blew his load.
What are you new to this show?
That's too bad. Steve, who is your ad this week? Who have you already spent fake money on?
My ad this week is maybe not so sleepy, but I'm picking Kyler Murray. So we just got reports that he is set to return by week 9. It's looking more probable as a week 10, but he's still got that IR designation there. Add him, stash him on the roster if you have not, or if he's still available in your league. He's been claimed by about 50% of leagues, but when he is, healthy, he's been a top dual threat quarterback. He has the ability that you're looking for in quarterbacks to be a game changer. I was looking at Arizona's playoff matchups. They've got a bye week in week 14, which is somewhat advantageous where they get that extra little bit of rest, extra little bit of reps as he's coming back into the season. I think he could be one of those title winning X factor kind of moves. If he's still available in your league. So I would pick up Kyler Murray.
That's a decent ad. I don't know. If he gets going, we've seen Kyler Murray absolutely cook. So it's possible if he's healthy enough.
Quarterback, right?
He's not too bad. I'm going to go next here. As I said, I was watching the Ravens game this weekend. It was a lot of fun to watch all of my fantasy participants score lots of points. Thank you, Lamar Jackson, for putting a smile on my face every single possession. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. I had my eye on one rookie on that team, and I'm going to say it this way. This is a stretch play. It's likely doesn't pay off until maybe the fantasy playoffs. I'm talking about Keaton Mitchell of the Ravens, 8% owned, 1% started, which is bold any way you look at it. If you did watch the Ravens game, that dude can ball. He's basically my new Dexter McCluster. So, I've seen one good thing out of him, and I'm basically going to, back up the Brinks truck for him. I know Steve was happy to see his Jake Bobo take the stage, if you will. Knowing the NFL and running backs, this kid could ball sooner than later. Like I said, not expecting big things from him right away. This is definitely a stash. And again, from what I saw before he kind of went off for a bit there, kid looked like he had the chops. So, maybe thank me 7 weeks from now. Chris, who you got?
All right, guys. Coming on tonight, I told you I'm tired. I've got a fever. And the only prescription is more Bobo, baby. After week 3, Ryan told you to add Jake Bobo, and I believe my response was, Ryan's an idiot. Don't listen to him. And
you're going to stand by that regardless, I'm sure.
Ryan is still an idiot, and you still shouldn't listen to him. It might be time to consider adding Mike and Casey Bobo's baby boy Jackson
to
your fantasy football roster, especially if you're in a deeper league or dynasty. With Metcalf out this week, Bobo had the most snaps of any Seahawks receiver. He had 75% snap share. He had 5 targets, 4 catches for 61 yards, and, of course, the already mentioned 18-yard touchdown. No updates on DK yet. He might still be out, might be back. Don't know yet. Pete has been very non-committal on what's happening with DK. But regardless, I think Bobo has earned himself more playing time and a spot on your fantasy roster.
Would you suggest anybody do anything about this, Chris, when they're adding? Would you back up the Brinks truck, or would you maybe empty the fab?
I'm not going to say blow your load on
no one talked about that. I said fab, Chris. That's disgusting.
On Jake Bobo, but
Okay.
Jackson Bobo.
Do whatever you got to do. Whatever floats your boat.
Fun fact, I learned that this weekend, that his Real name is Jackson.
I mean, when you're that high in the stadium, you probably can't see much. So you probably had some time to do some Googling up there, hey? Probably. I'm assuming so. Let's get into what?
I saw it on another podcast.
Oh. What? That checks out. That checks out. Let's get into sneaky starts. Yeah. Get that pineapple going. Before we get into sneaky starts, I got a question for you guys. How long is too long to hand out a fantasy trophy? Like, what would be like an acceptable time frame to potentially give a belated trophy to? Week 2? Week 3?
End of the next year?
End of the next season? Maybe end of week 7? Maybe?
I think you're still good.
Our boy Kyle finally got his trophy today. So congratulations, Kyle, for winning last year's championship. It only took me 5 weeks longer than normal. So usually I'm a week 2 guy.
I mean, they had to decide who the winner was. It was confusing. It was messy.
Thank you. I appreciate
Stop being losers, and I don't know.
Yeah. And they also were, we got to give credit to our guys, which I think we did last season. So even though we don't like Devin as far as fantasy is concerned, they were cool.
With Devin.
Yeah. Never trade with Devin. Also something that definitely comes up. But they did donate some of the league winnings to, I think, DeMar Hamlin's charity or whatever charity that was. So we got some pretty cool guys in our league. So props to them. But like I said, it's time for some sneaky starts. I'm going to go first here. I do suggest that you pay attention to the Buffalo Bills. Things aren't going so great out in Orchard Park, but that's okay. And I'm not talking about Kelowna. I'm talking about New York. Dawson Knox is likely done skis with the Bills, maybe even this season, even if his injury isn't as severe as a few people have said. Dalton Kincaid would be my suggestion for you to start this week. His ownership is likely going to grow as the Bills figure out their crap. He's 41% owned, which makes sense. I mean, he's someone that probably should be owned in a decent amount of leagues, but in deeper leagues anyway. But 14% started, he will rise. The Bucs are one of the stingiest teams against tight ends, but if the Bills can be exposed, they can remember how to be good too. So I suggest you start Dalton Kincaid this week on a hunch. Sometimes I'm right on these, probably 1 for 10, but I'm hoping 2 for 11 this week. So Dalton Kincaid. Ted, go for it.
I'm going to Houston to tell you to go add Tank Dell. He's rostered in 59% of leagues, and he's being started in 3. The rookie had 19 receptions for 324 yards and 2 TDs on 28 targets through the first 5 weeks and was a top 25 receiver. So he went down with an injury in week 6. A head injury in week 5, straight into week 6 with a week 7 bye. He's also available in week 8 now that he's back on the roster. I think he's going to play. If he plays, go ahead and start him and watch the Stroud-Dell combo roll. Get him now if he's not already on your roster and make it happen.
Didn't you already tell people to start Tank Dell this season?
I did, yeah, pretty early on, like week 1 or 2. I think he went off for like 10 receptions.
Way to stick to your guns on that one. Good job. Way to go. Steve, what do you got?
You gotta love when a guy doubles up like that.
It's like a sneaky ad that's owned by half the league.
Yeah.
The
old Najee move, right?
The old Najee move. My guy is Devin Singletary. I never thought I would say that considering I had him and then I just gave him away because he was crap. But I hope we remember this guy, that he was supposed to be like the answer at running back in Buffalo. He wasn't. He got shipped off. He was supposed to be the answer in Houston. He wasn't. Well, it looks like he might be. In Houston's last game before the bye, he got 54% of the snap share to Dameon Pierce's 33%. I had to go and look at it because I didn't actually believe Dameon Pierce has been this bad, but he has been absolutely awful. Houston's O-line is junk. That's why Stroud is running for his life, which makes it even more impressive what he is doing out there. Singletary was able to put up almost 5 yards a carry against a tough New Orleans run defense. Pierce is definitely the long-term answer and plans in Houston, but This season, he has not gotten over 60. He hasn't even gotten up to 60% of the snap share in a game. His yards per carry has not topped 3.5. Like, he has been absolutely atrocious. Singletary is going to be going up against a brutal Panthers team. I expect Houston to use Singletary. I expect them to use Pierce as well. I think this could be one of those true committees going forward. Last year, it looked like Pierce was kind of the bell cow. Everyone was kind of jumping on that bandwagon.
I was going to say, like, remember the whole Pierce train? Everybody was like all aboard that, and now nothing.
Yeah, it's bad. His snap percentage this year, and I don't like, maybe I don't watch enough Houston games. I don't follow it enough. Maybe he's got like some.
This is the team of the future. Everyone loves the Houston Texans. Pretty much must see TV.
Half of his, they just had a bye in week 7. Half of his games, he is under 3 yards per carry. Like, that is bad. That is replacement level. He was getting snap shares at like 54, 45, 59, 33. I still think he is the answer there going forward. But, like, yeah, Singletary got 12 carries, 58 yards. It doesn't show up monster in the stat sheets, but at this point in the year, when you are starting guys, you're looking for somebody who has a chance, and maybe a guy that's going to put 6, 7, 8 points up in that flex spot potentially.
Impressive. I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm making a run this year in not the Whistleblower League. I am 6-1. I've got PPR. What is this? Dell was my week 1 sneaky start, and so Ted's just making sure. Like, we already told you had a sneaky start, and
it wasn't a good one though.
No, it's fine.
He has not. He's had 2 explosive games with them. I would know because I have Stroud in every league that I have. He had 2 really good games with him. I still think Tank Dell is going to be that guy to complement with Nico Collins, but it's one of those ones hasn't shown me yet. So I was telling our boy
consistently, right?
He's not consistent though.
Yeah.
Like, he's at a 20, he's at a 12, and he's had a bunch of like 3, 2, 4 kind of games.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. He's got to show out consistently here at some
point. Yeah. 100% he does.
So I've been asking Ted about this. I'm trying to make a run. It's PPR league. We keep.
What does that mean?
Oh shoot! I'm trying to do
his own thing, eh? His own thing.
My gosh!
This is. I want this to be a group win here. So PPR means point.
Give somebody a layup and they miss.
I know, it's clank. It's like Carlton.
Let it rain.
Yeah, it's like Carlton on the Fresh Prince just launches it up and it's like, oh, and it's absolute airball. So I got Lamar, I've got CMC, Bijan, I got Drake London, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis is clearly the star. I just picked up Waller. The Ravens D has been, again, that was a great win on Sunday. Thank you to the Ravens.
In sacks.
Oh man, it was just all over the place. I got Dalton Schultz, who was on a bye. So I've got my picks. I'm going to start making a move. Who's like a running back or a receiver that I should be going, or both? Because I'm likely going to probably move away from my first like 4 picks. So we keep one and a rookie. So I'm probably going to keep like CMC and probably Bijan realistically. So I don't mind getting rid of. I've been looking at Mike Evans.
For some context, he was offered Jacobs for a first.
Well, that has
in a first where you can have, I think, 2 keepers. So for me, that was seemed like it was a little rich.
I offered a second, and he felt that. He says people will offer more once it gets closer. I said, well, that's entirely possible. Then I'll just look for somebody else. I mean, I'd rather offer for like Jonathan Taylor or something. And something that way I can get a better player. So who would you guys think? Like a running back or a wide receiver? I'm pretty happy with Dalton Schultz. I'm willing to let everybody else run the team.
I think you got to try to target like a high-end receiver who's not having like the best year right now in hopes that he sort of figures it out and not have to pay a huge price for it. Like Waddle comes to mind. And then if you want to go the other route for a guy that's sort of up and coming before you have to pay too much, like Zay might be a guy to go after that could probably help your squad that maybe turns into like a number 1 or a number 2 on what you have already.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
paying
I've been
a
looking at
first
Mike
for-
Evans a lot too. I mean, he had a pretty decent week, so I'm gonna have to wait a few weeks before I make that move. Our trade deadline's in a couple weeks, so just trying to shore everything up before I make my eventual run for a championship, which doesn't happen too often in my life. So
you could maybe make a run at trying to trade for like an Amari Cooper or something like that and not have to pay a whole ton because of what's going on in Cleveland at quarterback right now, but he still manages to put up 100-yard games. Or just with bad quarterbacks and might not happen all the time. So if consistency ever finds its way in there, he might be a dangerous guy down the road that you don't have to pay a ton for now.
That's good. What did you say, Steve?
The guy you want to go get right now is the guy that's on Chris's team, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has got a wonderful playoff matchup. He in standard leagues, he is the number 12 wide receiver, and he missed a game against Carolina, so that just shows his value. Like, he's got some gravy train matchups coming up after their bye in week 10. If I'm making a run for it, it sounds like your roster already has like a decent amount of depth.
I just want to I need sure things like
go
to
get
back
him
up for a guy that doesn't have
back the Brinks truck up, man.
Austin Eckler's another guy that's got an unbelievable playoff.
Eckler would be good too.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like St. Brown too is I don't know how. I feel like it's still underrated for a number one as well. So, yeah,
excellent.
But I like the Eckler pick. That's good too.
I just want to make sure, like I said, I'm going to unload those probably my top 5 picks because, I mean, what do I care if I go for it? I'm still going to have 2 guys to keep that are going to build a nice team next season as well. So it's not like it's the end of the world. I drafted a pretty good team this year based on keeping CMC and I think Drake London. So
to be honest, I would pay I don't know. To me, if your keepers are only 2 keepers, that means all of your draft picks are that much more valuable because there's so much talent available. So I'm saying to whoever owns Amon-Ra, here's my first, take it. And then in the off season, you've got Christian McCaffrey, who you're just dangling above there, and you have a 20. What's Bijan, like 21? Amon-Ra's 24. You've got your keepers for the next 3 to 6 years. Easily, you got 1 wide receiver, you got 1 running back.
Yeah, move the big value in the.
This is why you tune into the show, folks, because sometimes people like me are helped also. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut, as you guys keep saying. So much appreciate. Chris, we got your start, did we not?
No,
I feel like we did.
It's just been.
I don't even remember, man. Like this has been a weird week for. No, we didn't. I feel like a dick. I'm sorry, Chris.
All good. Go start Taysom Hill.
That's it?
That's all I'm giving you now.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm on a top. Wow.
I didn't.
Man, you got like a whole good write-up, and I totally screwed you. I Chris, do our people a solid. I screwed you on this. I owe you big time.
No, it's all good, man. Start Taysom Hill.
And that sucks. That's fair, I guess. He had all these cool words like Swiss Army knife. I don't even know if he's Swiss, but Taysom Hill is actually starting to become a thing that I'm not a big fan of. Is he still getting paid that massive contract, or is that only if he gets like X amount of starts or snaps or something? Anybody?
A lot of void years, maybe?
I don't know. I know that he had there was like kickers in there or something.
It's got to be one of the most confusing contracts I've ever seen, so I'm not even going to try to comment on that.
Okay, fair enough. Chris, I owe you. I apologize.
All good, man.
Are we on an embargo? Are we still good?
All good.
Okay. He's going to probably somehow put a virus on my computer from his house or something. I'm really frightened right now. All the right reasons.
You don't want
guys,
Chris is planting into your computer.
Yeah.
There's one guy
that's probably true.
In this group of 4 of us that you don't want to look in their chat history.
For the right amount of money, I think we'd be willing to post it. Actually, no, I take that back. Yeah, definitely not. Well, guys, we got through it somewhat unscathed. This was a little bit helter-skelter, but that's okay. We even got done early this week. It's not bad. Chris, you can probably go back to sleep now. Go Seahawks, obviously. Go back. Do you sleep in that jersey or no?
No. And really quick, I should have given a shout out when we talk about my trip. quickly talked about them. Seahawks Canada and friend of the show, Derek Jory, for setting up that trip. It was super rad for him to basically, like, he waited till the 25th hour to get commitment from me before selling my spot. So really appreciate it. It was a super cool trip. If you guys aren't already following Seahawks Canada on all social media, I definitely highly recommend it. If you're a Seahawks fan, go check them out.
I almost forgot one more thing. Thank you for reminding me, Chris. How did I not say this? Our sponsor of our Thno is Kelly O'Brien's in Kelowna here. Just think about Pachos and think about Thno, and you could get yourself a nice little gift card. Maybe 50, maybe 100. We're not sure yet. We haven't decided. Go like or subscribe, or what? I guess it's subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think if we can hit 20, then we'll give away two $50 gift cards, I think, this month. Get things started, get things rolling, make a few people happy. I think we're getting pretty close, actually. Last I checked, we are, I think we're at 17 or 18 now. Ooh. So if we can get to 20 before week 8 starts, so that would be pretty rad. And
let's hook the tens of 20 subscribers up.
Yeah, so we're almost at 20. It takes some time. YouTube's the hard one to build. Anybody can build a Twitter following with bots and such, but it's the YouTube followers we need. So go in there, go subscribe to our channel so you guys can comment along. Would really appreciate it. And like I said, we're going to be giving away some Kelly O's GCs, because that's what nice people do. And thank you to Kelly O's. Go eat some Pachos. They're worth it. And some chicken lips. Oh, I love chicken lips. Love me some chicken lips. On behalf... Yeah, I made it weird. I don't care. What are you going to do about it? Nothing.
Weird is an understatement on that one.
Weird is an understatement. On behalf of Teddy, Steve, my boy Chris, I'm Ryan. This is That Helps No One Fantasy Cast on Crier Media. Go check out our boys Kelly O's. Good luck in week 8, everybody.